Hi, Chernold.
Hi. It's been too long, Charles.
It's been so long. But I think about you and I know you're doing great things. And I think about where we were as creators then and where we are now.
Having the experience that I've been blessed to have, which is, I came out of the CFC, and and I feel like CFC, you jump started my career. And I say that with truth, because it was CFC who recommended me to CTV for a production and development exec job there. And then, I ended up running the kink in my hair. And then I moved down here and I've been building my career. So I feel very lucky to have this breadth of experience.
Everybody's ganging up on me now. I should be used to it.
That's enough.
I'm curious for yourself, because you've worked with some larger sort of spaces and people who are talking about audience all the time. Has that conversation ever included anyone like you, your moms, your bros?
I would think about that. Think about who things appeal to. And now I'm at the point where I'm just like, I'm the audience. I am. And you know who's reflected in me? I think it's like you just said. Who's reflected in me are my little brothers, my mom, my aunts, my father. Because we have always been people and we have always been consumers. And I never lose sight of the fact that it's about the money. It's always about the money.
I would love for you to just talk about your position like as a Black creator and imagination.
There are times where I felt my imagination was constricted. I was developing something with a really well-known studio, and they said to me, we have a feeling that we know what you're wanting to do, and we don't think you can sell a show right now with the Black female lead. And I was like, uh-oh. That's not something I wanted to hear, nor is that something probably you guys should have said out loud. But
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about that. And then not 6 months later, I think, Scandal blew up and Shonda started to do her thing. And they were like, we changed our mind.
Wow.
We changed our mind. And I was like, but you guys just said that I couldn't do a show with the Black lead. And they were like, we don't know wherever you would have gotten that impression. You motherfuckers, you said so. But you can't say that because that's not how you conduct business and that's not how you continue. So one of the things I think I've learned is specificity of the Black experience. I'm not afraid to say my passion project is Viola Desmond. And I know her story is bigger than just this thing that we know about with the court drama, because some white guy would have already made a 2-hour movie about it. And if they knew how to do it, they would have done it already. But the reason that they didn't know how to do it is because they're not me and they're not a Black woman and they don't see the story from the inside the way that I do. I set up a meeting with one of Canada's broadcasters, and I said to them, I want to know that you guys are coming in with me as a partner right now. And I want to know that this series would have a home on the network. Yeah. And they paused and they said, wait a second. Are you asking us for a green light right now? And then I had that war in my head, uh-oh, Trinidadian Catholic, what are you doing? Canadian, just like, who do you think you are? Just screaming at me in both ears. I was just like, both of you need to hush. And I leaned in. I did the lean in and I said, yes, I am. Yes, I am looking for a green light right now. And I know this broadcaster has done this before for white creators. Of course, they're not going to bring that up in the first meeting because I'm not trying to make anybody defensive and I'm not trying to insult anybody. But you've done it before. So do it for me, because look at my resume. Look at my body of work. Look at the experience that I've had. You can't say that I don't know how to do a period piece. I spent 2 years on one of the greatest period Canadian shows of all time, and with an E. When you stock all that up, how could you possibly say no? Because there are a million mediocre white dudes that you have said yes to. We all know it's true. So, there's a thing that's going on right now where, I have to swallow my fear and swallow all the conditioning, all the things that folks have been trying to tell me about you don't deserve and nobody here looks like you and you're lucky to be here and you should be great. Fuck that shit. That's enough of that now. Ultimately, I asked them and they will have to answer. And that's how I'm moving now.
I love it. The essence, I think, of what you're saying is if you are committed to the statements you're making and being a part of this this movement of change, this is how you can. Have you ever felt like it's like, you can't fuck up because you don't get a second chance?
Yeah, constantly feel that way with every gig. Even when you get that person, that individual, that studio, that network, that showrunner, whoever, that says, you know what, you haven't done this before. And I'm thinking about a very specific show experience. Now, I went in as a producer. First time I was a producer level on this side of the border, on the US side of the border. And, so they do the right thing because they have their diversity quotient or what have you. There's one Black woman on the show. They want to pretend like they're listening to her concerns. So they hired me at a producer level, and that's a shot. But I went into that terrified of failure and terrified of even not even failure, just like not even doing a good enough job, because that always gets heaped on you. And what I didn't know going into that was the person who had hired me already dismissed me, already didn't give a shit, already didn't care about my voice or what I would have brought to the show. They already didn't care. So it didn't matter how hard I worked or how I overcame the fear of it didn't matter. It didn't matter because he had already made up his mind. So I had to then make a big decision, which was I have to leave. And I never quit a job. Trinidadian, you don't quit. Well, Trinidadians, they'll sneak off to drink rum, but you don't quit. You keep the job, you do the job. And I had to quit. It hurts. It hurts your feelings, it hurts your heart, it hurts your brain, it hurts your imagination, it hurts your creativity. If you are a white creator, I want you to examine the fact that you have an order and somebody else who was a person of color who probably had a similar show idea did not. And then I want you to think about the responsibility that you have because you have the order and now you're hiring people. And I want you to hire the right people. And then, and it doesn't stop, It's like, and then after you hire those people, how are you going to treat them? Because we are coming in to help you make your show better. So are you going to listen to us or are you going to dismiss us? Because there comes a time now where we're going to demand more from you. It's not your time anymore.
I love it. I'm your soldier. For sure. Any recommendations or demands CFC can do right now?
I do.
Yes.
I do, CFC. Fix the pool. Fix the pool. All I did was look at it in its cracked glory. Think about what good you will be doing for writers, especially black writers, because the stereotype may or may not be true. I am not the greatest swimmer, but the pool and water brings me so much comfort and relaxation that if you guys fix that pool and then let in some more Black folks, you will change the world. Fix the pool.